Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Listen, we are in dire need of donations to keep these shows running and available for you 24/7. So that means when you're in the car, it's available for you to listen to. Whether you're at work, streaming, playing a game, it's available for you to listen to. Rowing your deed and learning about the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful different topics of Islam. Listen, one of the heaviest deeds that could be placed on your scale on the Day of Judgment is Sadaqah Jariyah. Yes, I know, I'm trying to build deeds daily. So you can too. So listen, feel free and please, from the bottom of your heart, donate to this wonderful cause, wonderful website and platform to continually push out shows that will benefit you and the Muslim Ummah. Yes, you can donate by going to the SunnahFollowers.net website, pressing the donate tab. You can also scan the QR code in YouTube on the far left top of our videos that are streaming. Listen, guys, this is very important, and take this as important. We want to keep this programming available for you 24/7 so that you have access in your car, anywhere you choose to tune in to this wonderful programming. Yes, guys, it's all at your disposal. So listen, feel free to donate. Once again, remember, Sadaqah Jariyah, one of the heaviest deeds on your scale on the Day of Judgment. He was known as the Sword of Allah, one of the greatest generals in history, one of Islam's greatest heroes. His name, Khalid ibn al-Walid. SunnahFollowers presents a new series presented by Ustad Mukhtar Shahid. Coming soon, so stay tuned. Streaming on all major platforms. Channel SunnahFollowers. SunnahFollowers presents a new upcoming class. Stay tuned. Sacred Bonds by Daryl Abdullah Kirk. Yes, Sacred Bonds, navigating the depths of Muslim matrimony and the family. You don't want to miss this one. Please stay tuned. Streaming on all major platforms right here on SunnahFollowers.net. There are so many things going on around, you must take heed. It's been written and prophesied about, so you must believe. Not everything that glitters is gold, pay attention as it's been told. Join us every Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern with Brother Yusuf as he tackles and breaks down current events, current news and politics, and the Islamic Ummah. Please join us, streaming on all major platforms. Channel SunnahFollowers. Join us every Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern for the Access to Laila live call-in and answer show. Please join Ustada Laila Nasheeba. If you have any questions in regards to this theme, call in at 862-370-2838. Now streaming on various platforms right here on SunnahFollowers. Alhamdulillah, it is that time again. Increase our worship and plead for forgiveness. Alhamdulillah, it is that time again. Increase our worship and plead for
Need inspiration? Need to brush up on the do's and don'ts during this blessed month? Join us for SunnahFollowers Ramadan Prep and allow Ustada Laila Nasheeba to walk you through day by day through this blessed month of Ramadan. This will keep your iman tight, your ibadah right, and keep you pushing in the light. Streaming on all major platforms. Channel SunnahFollowers.
Oh, excuse me. Ina alhamdulillah wa salat wa salam ala wa rasulullah. I'd like to welcome everybody to day 21 of Ramadan 2025. We are officially in the last 10 days of Ramadan. And what I want everyone to remember is this is when you want to get even more intent on your supplications. Whatever personal supplications you have for the year, now is the time to make them. You can ask Allah for anything as long as it's lawful. And your supplications do not have to be in Arabic. I repeat, your supplications do not have to be in Arabic. Arabic is not a religion, it's a language. And as Allah says in the Quran, all language comes from Him. He's the one that created language. If Allah can understand a goldfish, if Allah can understand an ant making dua for it, He can understand your dua. So your supplications, that's the question that somebody asked me today. Do I have to make my supplications in Arabic? No, who told you that? Whoever told you that is ludicrous. The only Arabic that you have to know is El-Fatiha, because there is no prayer without El-Fatiha. And also you need to learn the Tashahud, because the Prophet Muhammad taught us how to say it. That's it. Other than the Tashahud, other than El-Fatiha, that's it. So I don't want to hear that crap about you other Muslims out there misleading this nation, telling people that Allah does not understand the language they speak, like Allah is deficient. This is the problem today. We do not believe in the lordship of Allah. Everything goes back to Tawheed. Allah is the creator of everything, including you, including me, and what comes out of our mouth too. And He's also the creator of our actions too. You know, we are in the days of different sets and groups. There are certain sets and groups that you guys hear about, you know, Asharis and all of this other stuff. A lot of these sets and groups don't believe in the lordship of Allah. They don't believe that Allah is the creator of humans' actions, for example. They don't believe that Allah is the one that created war. That's why they protesting. That's why they going and voting for kafirs to change and bring relief to them. They don't believe in Allah's decree that everything good and bad comes from Him. But I'm here to tell you that's the wrong belief system to have. And until your belief system is correct, and that's why all my classes focus on Aqidah, Tawheed, because if your belief system is not correct, ain't none of your deeds accepted. But alhamdulillah, this month of Ramadan, we've been working on our belief system. And everyone listening to me, inshallah, should be upon the correct belief system. And as we enter into the second day, this is the second of the last 10 days, the Night of Qadr. We're looking for the night of decree. This is the one night of the year that Allah shares His knowledge with the angels. Who's going to live? Who's going to die? Where He's going to send the next war? Who He's going to reward? Who's going to be born? He shares what leaf will fall from what tree. You know, he shares his knowledge of everything that's going to happen for the next upcoming year with the angels. And that's as a result, the angels, including Jabril, even Michael, the angels descend to the earth on that night, and they walk the earth making dua for us, not everyone, making dua for the true believer. Who is the true believer? The true believer is upon a correct belief system. So you better have your belief system together. If you want those angels to make dua for you, you better be upon a correct aqidah. Otherwise, you ain't included in that dua. That's the reality. Okay. But alhamdulillah, inshallah, everybody listening to me is upon a correct belief system. If you're not, get with it. And what I'm going to do tonight, yesterday I explained the why that night is so important. Today, what I'm going to do is give you some things that you can do during these 10 days besides making supplication. Because a lot of you asked that, Sister Laila, what else can we do besides reading the Quran? What else can we do besides praying? Okay, well, we're going to go over that now. So let me put the PowerPoint up on the screen. And again, make sure you guys have me on the big screen TV for the kids to see. Okay. And parents, please take screenshots for your children. And again, all of this is our journey to righteousness, the road to righteousness. And we're going to speak about what to do during these last 10 days and nights so we can reap the reward of the night of decree, which is forgiveness of all our past sins, as long as we're not indulging in any intentional ones. All right. So one of the things that we can do, and this is for the brothers and sisters who work, one of the things you can do is take a vacation. Go on a vacation. Take a vacation for Allah from your job. Okay, put in your vacation leave for the next 10 days. Take a break from your jobs so that we can spend more time, remembering Allah and thanking Allah for the blessings he's given us, including your job. And if you cannot take the whole 10 days off from work, then at least take a few days off. This will make it easier to stay awake and do extra actions of worship. You remember, why do we stay awake? It's not because we're looking for Santa Claus, none of that garbage. We try to stay awake for the last third of the night, or at least wake up during the last third of the night, because the last third of the night, this is when Allah comes down to the lowest sky and he raises his hands and asks who is in need of something from him. So you want to at least take off a few days so that you can sleep and wake up during the last third of the night to talk to Allah, to go over, your list of supplications with Allah. And also, if you take off from work, for the brothers, you'll be able to do some time and seclude yourself to the masjid, itikaf. What is itikaf? And by the way, let me answer this question. You have some Muslims that will tell you, sisters, that you can do itikaf in your house. This is not correct. Allah tells us in the Quran where itikaf is. Allah says in the Quran that itikaf is performed in the houses of Allah, and the houses of Allah are the masjid. So anybody that's telling you, sisters, that you can do itikaf in your home, these brothers do not know what they're talking about. They have to check their aqidah, perhaps. I don't know. All right. Itikaf is only in the masjid. Okay. But a Muslim woman, I want every sister listening to me, you get more blessings staying at home in your house than going to the mosque anyway. So the simple fact that you at home in your house making dua, you're at home in your house remembering Allah, you getting more rewards than the sisters that ain't anyway. For those sisters that are doing itikaf, you getting more reward than them Because remember, it's the opposite for a woman. A woman gets more reward staying in her home, practicing her religion, than going outside the home anywhere. So for you sisters that are not doing itikaf, but you're getting up and during the last third of the night, remembering Allah, you're getting more blessings than those sisters that are at the mosque. Keep that in mind. Don't ever, ever, ever forget that. Okay? But for you brothers, you get reward secluding yourself in the masjid. So take a vacation from your job so you can do that for Allah. And again, itikaf, it was the practice of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There are some Muslims that will tell you, oh, I do itikaf in a cave. I never forget, I had a sister from Morocco join my classes one day, and she said, oh, Sister Laila, they don't have to, they could do itikaf in a cave. I said, what? She said the Prophet Muhammad used to do itikaf in a cave. I said, that's a lie. That's a lie. Don't come in my website lying to these people. I said the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to do itikaf in a cave before he received the call to prophethood. After he received the call to prophethood, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam never secluded himself in a cave, because caves are the homes of the jinn. After the Prophet Muhammad received the call to prophethood, he only secluded himself in the mosque. So I had to correct that sister. So that's why I tell y'all, just because a person speaks Arabic, don't make them a scholar. Just because they come from an Arabic country, don't make them no scholar. There's a lot of silly, simple-minded Arabs, Bedouins on the earth who think that you can do itikaf in a cave. You cannot. Itikaf is only performed in the mosque. And the Prophet Muhammad never secluded himself in a cave after he received the call to prophethood. We got to learn our history. You got to learn Surat al-Rasul. Okay? So it was a practice of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to spend the last 10 nights and days of Ramadan in the masjid, not in no cave, for itikaf. And when a person performs it, they stay in the mosque during this time. And what do? If you're going to do itikaf, you're going to spend that time remembering Allah, reading Quran, doing voluntary prayers, studying the Quran. The Imam can hold a Quran class. He can hold a study circle. You can do that in itikaf. You don't leave the mosque. If you are a person that's performing itikaf, you stay in the mosque. You don't leave it except for an emergency. Like if you get sick or something, you stay there, you sleep there, you bathe there. Okay, and the women can do itikaf too if the mosque has the accommodations for you. And where does the food come from? Your family members bring you the food and drink and all of that. But itikaf is performed inside the mosque, not in a cave and not in your house, women, despite what these other people tell you that's not true. And by the way, something I want everyone listening to me to understand, you do not have to seclude yourself for the entire 10 days. You can just do one day or one night. You can do one day or one night, or you can do more. It doesn't have to be the whole 10 days, guys. If you sisters want to see what it's like, you can decide to do one night, okay? Keep your children at home, though, because the purpose of itikaf is to seclude yourself away from the distractions of the world. If you take your children with you, you're defeating the purpose. You're causing a problem for other women and other people who are there. They have to hear your baby cry. They have to listen to your children run around all night long. They have to listen to your kids whine and scream and holler. Do not take your children to the mosque. So if you women are going to do itikaf, you need to have a babysitter at home, because otherwise you are impeding upon the rights of somebody else. Okay? We have to be more conscientious of our brothers and sisters in Islam. And also, not only can you do itikaf during these days and nights, but you can also make the special supplication that I gave you guys yesterday. Let me put this hadith here again so you guys can take a screenshot of it. What is the special supplication that our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught Aisha radiallahu anha to say, because she was on her period? She couldn't pray or fast, but she could still make dua. And by the way, for the sister that kept joining me all Ramadan telling me that some loser was telling her that she cannot read the Quran on her period, this is the dalil that whoever told you that is a lie. The Prophet Muhammad told Aisha, you can still recite the Quran. And this is a special supplication that a menstruating woman can say during these last 10 days. And that supplication is, oh Allah, you are forgiving and you love to forgive, so forgive me. That's all. And it can be said in English. It can be said in Francais, in Spanish, whatever language you speak. It doesn't have to be in Arabic. You can just simply say, oh Allah, for my new shahadas, you don't speak Arabic, you don't know the dua. Just say, oh Allah, you are forgiving and you love to forgive, so forgive me. That's all you have to say. Say that a lot throughout the day and night. And here it is in Arabic for those of you who want the Arabic fanatics, the English Arabic fanatics. There it is. I think I put it in there good for y'all. Let me see if I can read it as if I'm a lay band. Hold on. Allahumma innaka afwan. Yep, I did it right. Tuhibbul. Y'all hear that? Tuhibbul. Write it down. Tuhibbul. F-Y. Fahfu. F-Y. Hear that? Fa-fu. F-Y. Fa-fu. Anni. Y'all hear it? New shahadas. Allahumma inaka F1 tuhibbul F-Y Fahfu Anni. So there it is. There's the English. Oh Allah, you are forgiving and you love to forgive, so forgive me. Say it in English, or if you want to try the Arabic too, there it is. Take a screenshot. All right, you got it? Okay, good. And also during these 10 days and nights, again, you can recite the Quran. Perhaps you can choose a surah or verses from the Quran, which you have heard in the Tarawih prayer, okay, to recite, okay? Or you can also, if you attend a class where the recitation of the Quran is taught, this is a great time to put your knowledge into practice. A lot of you come here for Brother Malik's class. Brother Malik teaches the Quran, how to recite the Quran every day at 5 o'clock. A lot of you have not taken advantage of that. But what the verses that he's going over with you guys, you can put into practice. And again, the women on their menses can read the Quran from the internet. You can read it from your cell phone or from a CD. For those of you who don't want to touch it. For those of you who follow the belief that a woman should not touch the Quran on her menses, don't worry about it, because you ain't got to touch the Quran on your menses. All you got to do is download the Quran on your phone and read it from your cell phone. That's what we do anyway. We don't use books anymore. We use electronic technology. So read the Quran from your cell phone. That way you ain't got to worry about falling into a doubtful area. The Prophet said, stay away from that which is doubtful, and you preserve your religion. So if you want to stay away from what is doubtful, don't worry about it. Don't read the Quran on your menses from the book. Instead, read it from your phone. And now you ain't touching it. See? Also, the difference is when you're reading the Quran during these last 10 days, when you're reading the Quran during these last 10 days, you want to put into practice the techniques that I've shared with you all month from our Metcalf-Siddiq Tafsir class. You want to reflect upon the words. Have your dictionary with you. Break down the meaning of those words in English, because a lot of us don't understand our own language. Ponder the meaning of the word. Just like yesterday, I had to tell you guys, what's the difference between an obligation and a recommendation? They don't mean the same thing. If we kept a dictionary with us, we would know the difference between obligation and recommendation. So keep a dictionary with you so you can ponder and reflect on the meaning of the words. And if you do know how to read the Quran in Arabic, you know, like I do, you go ahead and read it in Arabic to get that blessing. And then go back and read the interpretation of the meaning in whatever language you speak to get the whole meaning, the whole reward. You get the reward for every letter of the Quran that you pronounce. But you also want the reward of knowing the meaning of what you're saying. So read the transliteration too. Okay? And also, I tell a lot of my students here, you know, everyone should use not only a dictionary, have a dictionary handy so you can look up the meaning of the transliteration of the meaning of those English words. But also, it's wise to have a tafsir book with you too. Ibn Kathir's tafsir book. His tafsir is good enough for you guys, you know, so that way you can get some meaning behind what Allah is saying. And by the way, guys, when you look at my videos of these classes I put out, y'all notice if you look on each video, I have a description and I have books in there. Look at the books. I have been advertising in all my videos Ibn Kathir's Tafsir, the whole series. Click on that link that's under the description and you can order it off of whatever that store is that it's on. Okay, it doesn't cost but $39, I think, or something. I can't remember how much it is. But anyway, when you look at my videos, the description will have the books that I put there that you can buy. And I do have his series in English there in the description. Buy it, okay? And remember, guys, the whole purpose of the Night of Decree is if you have hopes of finding it, and you have practicing your religion as Allah commanded. That means you're doing your prayers, you're wearing hijab, you're obeying Allah, you're staying away from the things He told us to stay away from. You will have all your past sins that were minor sins forgiven. And what is a minor sin? Minor sins are the mistakes we made. Those are the actions of disobedience that we did in our lives, and we didn't know that they were haram. You didn't know it was haram to smoke cigarettes. You're forgiven for that. You did not know that it was haram to buy a car on interest. You're forgiven for that. You did not know that it was haram to shake hands with the opposite sex. You're forgiven. But for the major sins, and what's the difference? The major sins are the intentional, the deliberate actions of disobedience we do. For those, you're not forgiven. You have to make tawbah. And Tawbah entails stopping the sin, feeling bad about having committed the sin, and being determined to never commit it again, and making the restitution if required. Okay, so that's what the night of decree, it brings about forgiveness of all the sins you committed that you didn't know were sins, and it's conditional upon the fact that you can't be deliberately disobeying a law now. So that means you sisters got to be wearing those hijabs every day. You brothers have to stop shaving off your beards. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever stands in prayer on the night of decree while nourishing his faith with self-evaluation and expecting reward from Allah will have all his previous sins forgiven. There's the hadith. And don't just pray using the shorter surahs that you know. Try to make your prayers longer. When you're doing the tahajjud, try to pray more. Say some of the longer prayers that you know and reflect upon the meaning. You sisters, you can lead your daughters at home. If you want to wake up during the last third of the night, you can wake your daughters up too. While your husband and sons are at the mosque doing tahajjud, you can wake up your daughters and you can stand just like this and lead them in prayer in a 2 rakat or even a 1 rakat. Remember, the Prophet said when you pray the night prayer ended with a witr, all you got to pray is 1 rakat. You ain't even got to be 2, just 1. You can wake up 30 minutes before Fajr. 30 minutes before Fajr. You get up, get your daughters up, and say, we're going to pray 1 rakat tahajjud. Okay? And then you can recite whatever surahs of the Quran you know. Okay? And we should do this every night. All right? And remember, I spoke yesterday about how a good idea would be to have a personal supplication list. How many of you made your personal supplication list? Alhamdulillah, my granddaughter did. I was so proud of her. My granddaughter sent me a text message with her personal supplication list. I'm so proud of her. And I want everyone to have their personal supplication list. And you make it every night. Whatever it is you really want from Allah, this is the time to ask for it. Make a list of everything, no matter how small it is, no matter how big it is. Oh Allah, alleviate my debts. Oh Allah, send me my righteous knight in shining armor. That's my supplication. Oh Allah, take away my debts. Oh Allah, send me my righteous knight in shining armor to take me away from all of this. That's my personal supplication. Seriously, Laila ain't playing. I ain't playing. Oh Allah, give me the ability to finish my book. Oh Allah, make me finish my book that I've been writing. Oh Allah, keep me strong in my commitment to you. Oh Allah, keep me strong in my commitment to the people. Oh Allah, don't allow me to falter like so many of these other du'at and people of the dawah have. Oh, I got some supplications, man. Oh Allah, keep my children strong and firm upon Sirat al-Mustaqim. Oh Allah, protect my children from the hasid of the hasideen and protect me from the hasid of the hasideen. Oh, I got some supplications. Y'all need to have a list, whatever it is. Oh Allah, make it possible for me to go to Disney World. Oh yeah, some people want to go to Disney World. Oh Allah, make it possible for me to travel to visit the Vikings of my family. Whatever. So whatever you want, make a list, because Allah loves to hear from us. And once you got your list ready, ask Allah to give you those things. And think about what actions you would have taken to get those things. And then you want to use your brain, as Dr. McBride has taught us, develop a work plan to get to those things in the future. Subhanallah. Here's another picture that I found. Look for me, oh, your sisters. What's up with the blazers? Oh, yeah, I found this one on the internet. What's up with you sisters with these blazers open? This is haram. What's the point? Are you a dude? He, she? What's up? LGBTQ, he, she. This is not the way a Muslim woman is supposed to dress. That ain't no abaya. That defeats the purpose. Your breast is out, stomach's out, hips out, but you look like a businesswoman, huh? Business in hell. Also, during these last 10 days, you want to do some serious self-evaluation. Like, why am I dressed this way? What's the point in me drawing my veil over my chest when I got my chest open with a tight blazer? We have to do a lot of self-evaluation, guys. Ask yourself questions that need to be asked about yourself. Have I grown in my faith? Am I fulfilling my obligations to Allah? Or am I just filling my obligations to my family? Am I staying away from sins? Am I a better person today than I was yesterday? Or have I gone backwards? So do an evaluation during these last 10 days. Evaluate where you are and where you should be. And let this evaluation lead you to find happiness and contentment with Allah. Okay? So again, and all of us need to do that. This woman here should be evaluating how she's dressed. I need to evaluate my emotions, make sure that I'm balanced. I have to keep myself balanced. I don't want to be too far to the right, nor do I want to be too far to the left. I have to maintain balance in everything, in my teachings, in my lectures, in my dealings with people. So do some self-evaluation and work on the things that you need to work on about yourself during these last 10 days. Because again, Ramadan is all about change. It's about to come to an end. It's all about changing the condition of yourself to that which is pleasing to Allah. That's the road to righteousness. And again, I want everybody to write this down. The best time to supplicate or to call upon Allah, I cannot stress enough, is the last third of the night, which is right before Fajr. Here's the hadith that I've been telling you guys all week. It's Bukhari as usual. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, when the last third of the night remains, our Lord comes down to the lowest sky and he says, who is it who supplicates for me and I will grant him his supplication? Who is it who begs for me and I will grant him what he begs? And who is it that seeks my forgiveness so I can forgive him? This is the best time to make dua. So, like I said, waking up even 15 minutes before suhoor, will allow you enough time, to ask Allah for whatever it is you want. Again, as long as it's nothing haram. So this is what I wanted to share tonight with everyone. Things that you can do during these last 10 days to make these last 10 days spectacular for you, to get your supplications answered and all of that. Ramadan is about to end. And when it ends, there will be a solar eclipse on that night. Isn't that sad? A solar eclipse of the heart. Do you want Allah to send his punishment towards you? Are you walking away from this Ramadan blessed or cursed? Something that we all need to ponder. All right, I'm gonna stop right here. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika, shadon la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Couple of things. I want y'all to stick around because we got Brother Yusuf coming in. He's gonna talk about the week's news and review. And also, I have my Ask Sister Laila live Q&A at 9:30, and tonight is gonna be our 101st episode. And it's going to be a special episode. The polygamy, the women of polygamy will speak out and they will ask out about the crooked husbands. Because believe it or not, as we embark upon these last 10 days of Ramadan, do you sisters know that there are women all over America who have spent this Ramadan alone? And the sad thing is, these women are married. They have husbands, but these men have not contacted them. These men have not spent time with them. These men have not even sent them a flower because these men are just hurtful. So this is their day. And I didn't want to do this Q&A, but I promised them that this week. Y'all know I've been putting them off all month because it's depressing. So this Q&A tonight, bring your questions about Islam. And I have a lot of questions here from the sisters who are in polygamous situations. And it's so sad that even that this is the most sacred time of the year for us. And these women, there's nothing worse than being married and being alone. And my heart just goes out to them because I can't really help them. And that's all I can do is tell them what Allah said. All I can do is tell them that this is not Islam, but there's nothing I can do for them. So you don't want to miss this special episode of Ask Sister Laila Live. That's at 9:30. And inshallah, I will be on time. I won't be late because I want to get it over with. I've been dreading doing this one and I want to get it over with. So I'll be on time. Yeah. How many of you saw the poster I put up for this one? Did you guys see the poster I put up for this week's Ask Sister Laila Live? It's a heck of a poster. Yeah. Let's see if I got it on this computer. Hold on, let me show it to you. Do I have it on here? Yeah. Yeah, look at this post. This is the poster I put up for these sisters, unfortunately. I can find it on this computer. Oh, there it is. Ooh. I don't want to do this Q&A. I really don't. But I'm going to have to. Because I promised the sisters I would. Gotta keep different. Yeah, this is the poster for it. Look, y'all. Y'all saw that? Yeah, this is the special Ask Sister Laila Live. The polygamy women speak out against the crooked husbands. Am I not your family too? No call, no see all month. I'm so alone. Am I not your family too? Says it all. That's going to be the special theme for tonight's Ask Sister Laila Live. Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, Sister A Kids on my videos. Go to my website, my YouTube channel, click on videos, and I'll tell you for the Q&A. Are you going to be here for my Q&A? Remind me on the Q&A because I got to look on which I just started adding them to my the Metcalf Siddiq Tafsir. Remind me for the Q&A and I'll give you the link that I have. I forgot what it is because I don't. It's on. Yeah, I'll find it. Yeah. Any questions in the Zoom room? Okay, y'all.
What did you say, Sister Laila?
Y'all didn't tell me, Brother Yusuf here. I should have known. Nobody was answering me. That meant a man was here. I should have known. Nobody was answering me because a man was here. Yeah.
They talked to me at the end. They talked a lot.
Did they?
Yeah, the last few weeks.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, they
do.
do.
Some pretty nice discussions off
camera. Oh yeah, they like it off camera. Okay. Oh, y'all. Oh, but this is my top, y'all. Oh, okay. Oh, he's here. Okay, we got a couple minutes. Wait a minute. I'm confused. I got so many computers open. Which computer is this? Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Y'all see me still? Okay, yeah, Sister A Kids, I'll give it to you for the the next Q&A. Y'all see, that's the Q&A theme. I mean, I bring y'all questions tonight, but I'm going to be focusing on this. This is a problem here with the Muslim women that's in these polygamous marriages. These women haven't seen or heard from their husbands all month because they don't have children by them. Now, you know that's sad. I don't know what type of Islam crap that is. But that's the thing. Yeah, let me take it down. I don't know which computer it's on. Hold on. Yeah, 9:30. Make sure y'all share that. Wait, I don't know which computer I got it on. Oh, is it down? Okay, there it is. Okay, hold on. Yes, yes, this is Brother Yusuf coming on now. Yes. Yeah, we got what, two more minutes? Yeah, I kept it to stream together like you all asked. That's easier for me too, to be honest. Yeah, he's going to go over all that, inshallah, the news and review. Yeah, a lot of stuff happened this week. Yeah, it did. Oh, yeah, that solar eclipse is coming. Right? The day of probably the last night of the last 10 nights. Yeah, it's scary, bro. Exactly. Okay, yeah, while you guys do that, let me put this here. I must change this to yeah, this is easier for me keeping the stream too. Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, I was calling to tell you that I spoke about the night of decree again.
Is it tonight?
It could be any of these 10 nights. I said I talked about it again tonight. My class, I'm still live, but the class I just did, I spoke about it again. Some more stuff. I
fell asleep because I was tired.
Okay, well, listen to, I'm still live, Brother Yusuf getting ready to come on with the news and review. So you can turn me on TV now if you want.
But I seen a TikTok and they was talking about it's tonight. So I heard them called you.
Yeah, don't nobody. Those are the Sufis. You got all these crazy Muslims. Only Allah knows when the night is. You're supposed to do it like we talked about yesterday. Yeah, all 10 nights. All right, well, let me set this up for Brother Yusuf. Put me on the TV for the kids. All right, Assalamu alaikum. This is the news and review. So, y'all got that right? Okay. All right. Is that good for you guys can see on YouTube and Twitch? Where's Twitch? This is Twitch. This is Facebook. This is YouTube. Y'all see them all? YouTube, Twitch, Facebook. Okay, good. All right. Y'all want to, okay, let me do that too. If those who want to join the Zoom room, this is the Zoom. Yeah, the Zoom link is this. That's the Zoom room. If you want to come, go there and click on Zoom room. That'll bring you in the Zoom room. You got it? You got it? Okay, good, good. Okay. There you go. All right. Okay, Brother Yusuf, whenever you're ready. There he is.
All right.
Oh, wow, he got his hair done.
I'm a corporate look today.
I see. Okay, hold on. Okay, let me put this down. All right. Okay. Okay, and you can start whenever you're ready, inshallah.
Yeah, it was interesting. Like everyone, it was interesting before we started this. People talking about which night is it? Listening to different speculation, implying that you should only be good on that one night. You know, what about being good the whole 10? You know, the whole month. You know, let's just find the one night where we can maximize the blessings and focus on being good only on that night. You know, it's I could actually make a program here and share some of my top 10, you know, Muslimisms, if you will, that I've had brought to me during Ramadan. I'll share one before we start. I was teaching a 8-hour class because we had an urgent need, and of course, the Western world doesn't adapt to Ramadan. We're still expected to work full shifts if you live in the West or you're doing business with the West. And I was really, my throat was parched. I mean, I'm teaching a very intensive class. People are very quiet in that group, not a lot of questions. So it's just me talking and talking. And I was talking to my boss, and I was like, man, this is killing me. And he's an Arab guy. And he said, well, I'll tell you what you should do. He said, take your lunch break and drive 65 kilos to the border between Bahrain and Saudi, turn around and come back, and then you can break your fast. And I remember just like laughing. I was like, that's the biggest lawyering with your religion that I think I've ever seen in my life. The way people try to go and play with God's rules, try to find these loopholes and manipulations and things, it's always been quite comical, you know, to me. And the Jews.
No sound, brother. No sound.
Hello?
Yeah, Brother Yusuf, no sound. Try it again.
We still can't hear you, Brother Yusuf.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like he's muted either, but we can't hear him.
I know. I wonder if he could come back in. Is that going to mess up?
Yeah. Oh, Sister Laila said, try to rejoin Brother Yusuf.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, he's gone.
Yeah.
Can anyone hear me?
Yes, alhamdulillah, we can hear you now.
Yeah, somebody had me muted from the master. Like I wasn't able to, yeah, okay, everything's back. So I guess none of what I said in the opening was able to be heard. So we'll go ahead and start over. I was talking in the beginning there about what Sister Laila had alluded to toward the end of the last session, which are what I call these Muslimisms that we find in Ramadan, which are people playing around with the deen. Like one of the things is which night is the night, you know, as implying basically that the rest of the nights we shouldn't be good. We shouldn't work to our fullest. We shouldn't do the best we can every single day. And I mean, I could do a whole entire presentation, you know, on these different Muslimisms I picked up over the years. One of my favorite ones I'll share now was a few Ramadans ago. back in about 2016. I was teaching a pretty intensive class, 8 hours. My throat was very parched and dry, and I was really having difficulty finishing it. This group was very quiet, wasn't a lot of questions. So it was really just me talking nonstop, without any kind of break. And on one of our, class 10-minute breaks I took, I was talking to my boss, this Arab guy. And I told him, I was like, this is tough. And he said, well, I'll tell you what you should do. He's like, on lunch, like we still take the break anyway, get in your car and drive basically to the border of Saudi Arabia and Bahrain, drive 65 kilos, turn around, and come back. And then you're able to break your fast because you traveled. And I remember just laughing, going, you got to be kidding me. This type of level of lawyering, with your religion, trying to find little loopholes and ways. And the Jews have been doing this for years. You can go just read up about them. It's amazing the things that they do to try to break their Sabbath restrictions. And I've seen a lot of stuff from Muslims that are pretty close, with Muslims trying to find loopholes and exceptions and all these different ways around their, commitments. But yeah, salam alaikum, everyone. We got a pretty packed show tonight. Lots of different areas we're going to cover. We're going to cover people praying in the street, which is becoming, unfortunately, a weekly trend these days, daily, even, in fact, in Ramadan. We're going to look at the war on food. We are going to look at Donald Trump and Gaza. We are going to look at Donald Trump and the judges that we are seeing. We're going to spend the tail end of this focusing on Gaza, the Ashkenazi Jews, who are the majority of the inhabitants of Israel, who they really are. We're going to cover that in the end. But we're going to open here with the unfortunate incidents that just continue to be headlines on a daily basis at this point. And that are these massive gatherings of people praying in the streets. Sister Laila, a couple weeks ago, was covering this as I was about to come on. And I was saying she beat me to it because she was already ripping them, as they deserve to be ripped for a variety of reasons. But now we're seeing it in Canada. Is going on daily now. The Toronto Police Department, in fact, is facilitating this. They are actually actively going out there and closing the streets, blocking traffic. There was even stories of ambulances that had to reroute because there were so many of these people praying in the streets of Toronto. Why are they doing this? What are they trying to accomplish, here? Obviously, they are trying to make us look bad. They are trying to make people hate Muslims, hate Islam. This is purely to antagonize the local Canadian population because, as we know, there's nothing in Islam that sanctions this. Nothing in Islam says you should pray, especially in these filthy, nasty streets. Where all people are spitting and God knows what else. I mean, it's just horrendous. And you're seeing them in the thousands lining up. And I'm seeing all the hateful comments about our religion coming from Canadians, from people who just simply want to go about their day-to-day lives. And they're having to be interrupted by this. And the second you're starting to block ambulances from going and doing their job, and these first responders getting that initial care, as someone who's been training first aid for 17 years, who's worked with responders and EMTs in factories and plants and facilities I've worked at. I mean, I respect their job tremendously. I mean, we know how important it is to get initial care to people who may need it. It's the difference between life and death. And you got these clowns out here embarrassing us, embarrassing themselves, engaged in these activities. And I can't lie, I know I shouldn't say this, especially in Ramadan, but deep down inside, I'd be lying, and I don't believe in lying, that I wish sometimes something would happen to them. I really do, and I know I shouldn't say that, but what they're doing is so repulsive, so embarrassing, so indecent. I mean, it's, again, the leadership knows what's going on here. These people out here are just followers, most of them. They probably have never even questioned this. To them, they don't see a problem with it, but the leadership knows exactly what they're doing. This is, again, a calculated effort by both the Canadian authorities as well as this Islamic leadership to bring about that civil war that I've talked about. This is what they want, Islam to be the catalyst, to destabilize the West. All orchestrated, all planned. You didn't see this stuff going on just a year ago. You saw pockets of this going on here and there, but you didn't see this type of fake show of force, in the streets that the way we're seeing right now. And again, all the people that are taking part in this who don't know any better, if you're watching me now, please stay away from this. This is not sanctioned by our religion. This is not what we are supposed to be doing. All this is going to do is get people hurt in the future, both us and the people who are against this. And this is not who we are and what we want to promote. And wanted to open there because I've seen this every day practically this week, some video of this stuff going on. It's just becoming increasingly more and more, disturbing. And like I said, I can't emphasize it enough. The Toronto police were helping this. Then I told you who's running these police departments. We talked about that in the rape game case, where we saw how the police departments were in some cases on the actual raping of these young girls. They were facilitating it. They were helping it. These police departments from the top down usually are controlled by high-ranking Masons, other secret society members, people of the Good Old Boys Network. They know what they're doing. They're trying to whip up division, and they're doing a phenomenal job of this. No question about it. So wanted to cover that, as we go up into the opening. Now we're going to get into the war on food. And I've talked about this off and on over the last few weeks and months. I've kind of alluded to it here and there about their globalist push with this phony climate change nonsense to make us completely dependent upon them. They are domesticating the human being like the dog has been domesticated. If you take a common household dog now, that dog, if it's turned loose in the wild, it has lost its ability to fend for itself. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave every creature an ability to provide for itself. It gave it its own prey that it's to feed off of and to nourish itself off of. But when mankind broke in and took the wolf and domesticated it into the common household pet that we see today, that dog has lost its survival instincts. And that's the same exact thing that our elite are trying to do to us. They want to domesticate us. They want to take away our ability. If you go back to 1930, during the Great Depression, you would see that about 40%, I think it's 40 to 45% off the top of my head, of Americans were self-sufficient in terms of their own ability to obtain food. So this was something that was a part of all humanity up until really recently. This is a recent phenomenon. You go to the average person now and you ask them, can they garden tomatoes? They're going to have no clue at all how to do that. Can they cut an animal? Can they clean it? They can't even clean fish. We have been so weakened and domesticated by these people, and it's only going to continue because now they're going after the people who still do this. So the globalist organization known as the World Economic Forum, you don't get more evil, demented, demonic, totalitarian, whatever name you can come up with of a negative adjective to describe. These guys are it. They were very prominent during the COVID scam with all of their lockdown encouragements and trying to strip us again of our ability to feed ourselves. Well, now they're proposing to the nations to ban homegrown food. They don't want people growing their food. And what are they saying is the reason why? Because they care, right? It's always because they care. So they want basically to get these net zero carbon emission goal by 2030 by using banning of domestically grown food. Now, has growing food ever caused a climate crisis in the history of this world? I think you all know the answer to that, how absurd it is just to simply say that growing fruits and vegetables is damaging to the environment. But here you go. These people don't need science. All they do is their microphone and the people they have in power to continue pushing this globalist narrative. And there's Mr. Shaitan himself there, Klaus Schwab. Now, a lot of people say, oh, well, they're not the government. They're just a think tank group. Well, if you look at WEF members, you find them all over the positions of power. Justin Trudeau, you have this woman, Tulsi Gabbard, who now all of a sudden in America, she's Miss Conservative. She's a WEF asset. Macron, in France, he is another one. They are everywhere. They put their leadership in positions of power to fund this agenda, to get this agenda implemented. So for decades, they've come after our farmers. They're doing this heavily now in Europe. Now that's not good enough. They want to make sure that you're not even able to grow your own food anymore. That has to stop. All in the name of climate change, again, that they cannot prove and have never proved. Because what we have to really understand, this is a game of life and death. Food is a weapon. It is the greatest weapon that can be used against people. People will slave, kill, die, for food. They will not rest until they control all aspects of this production. And once they have that, we as people are merely putty in their hands. They can mold us, get us to do whatever they want in their bidding. This is, again, no climate change. It's just an attempt to take over food production and lower the standard of living. That's all it is. Nothing more, nothing less. They know, when I talked about last week with that digital money, that evaporating or disappearing money that you have to spend or it disappears, it's all interconnected. It's all part of the goal of what they are pushing. You're going to have digital money only submissive to the grocery stores, and they're even talking about allocating your credits on what you can buy based on your carbon footprint. So you're only going to be allowed to have a certain amount of meat per month. You would only be allowed to have a certain amount of any kind of chicken, animal product, eggs. They would have you doing what they tried to do a couple of years ago, and that's eating insects. This was big after COVID. They were coming after this one big time. They were pushing insects everywhere. They had celebrities out there talking about eating worms. I think it was Nicole Kidman, the famous actress, was eating, the insects and talking about how good they taste. They've already in certain countries have passed laws where they don't even have to tell you that they're using insect protein in a lot of the supplements and food items. Again, because they want us to be nutrient deficient. This is why there's a big war on eggs and a war on beef. When I was growing up, it was, red meat. That was the biggest cancer. Don't eat red meat. Oh, there it is, exactly. As I spoke, there it is. Celebrities all coming out, telling you how great it is to eat insects, telling you how they, with their millions of dollars, they're choosing to eat the insects, right? But these guys are using tactics that have kind of expired. I mean, people don't really listen to these celebrities that much anymore. You got your social media influencers now who are much more prominent and much more influential, but still they're going back to the old bag of tricks. Get the Hollywood actors and actresses to come out here and market this stuff to make us, again, nutrient deficient. Because if we're nutrient deficient, we're what? We're sick. We're sick, we go where? We go to their healthcare providers. What do their healthcare providers do? Line us right on the death train of the pharmaceutical industry, pumping us full of petrol-based drugs and chemicals, keeping us sick. Then we're taking another supplement to cancel out the side effects of the first medication they gave, all because we don't have the simple vitamins and nutrients that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put on this earth for us to enjoy, and our ancestors and people have been enjoying for thousands of years. Now, the first major shot that was fired in this war was fired by John D. Rockefeller. He had successfully lobbied to get raw milk banned in Chicago in 1909. This was a twofold plan, as it always is with the elites. They have two missions. They accomplish two birds with one stone, so to speak. So they funneled all of the dairy business during this period of time until the present day into the big processing conglomerates, because now you had to pasteurize your milk. So you had to have these boiling temperatures, removing all the positive enzymes and healthy bacteria, as well as the bad. Of course, that was the reason they were doing it. They just wanted to eliminate deaths. They just wanted to stop people from getting sick because they care, so much. Well, you can go look up many John Rockefeller or Rockefeller family quotes about what they think about us, the plebs, the slaves, the lower level of life. They believe they're supermen and we are just simply inferior. So I highly question the motivations when I hear any of these people tell me they care about me or us or anybody who is not of their stock. So you had all these conglomerates now formed because they were the ones that had the money and the resources, obviously, to produce this type of pasteurized milk. The independent farmer didn't have enough money to get together and build a factory to take part in this, so they further drove them out of business. What do they always do? They make the cost of production so high, only they can do it. So now you had all of that. You monopolized the production. And then secondly, of course, you removed all the beneficial. I mean, drinking milk is in our sunnah. You know, milk is something that has been essential to human life. It's very good for your bones, for your brain, and most importantly, the healthy enzymes and healthy bacteria that you find, the probiotics in there, are very beneficial for your gut health. And your gut health affects your teeth. It affects your oral health. It also affects your mind and your brain's cognitive functions. You can have Dr. McBride even speak on this. I'm sure he's pretty knowledgeable in that area. But you see, again, what they did. You know, pasteurize it, fry it, burn it all out. You know, you're gaining nothing but filler, you know, at this point, stripping away all of these valuable vitamins. The FDA would pick up this fight and continue the ban on shipping it. So raw milk in 1987 was not allowed to be shipped across state lines because, again, they care so much about your health. And again, these are the same people we were talking about last week, the American Heart Association, the experts, the ones who love you, the ones who tell you they care about you, are fighting against food stamps for new provisions being placed where you can't use your food stamps to buy sugary junk products. So you find, again, it's just so comical. And you see our orange juice pasteurized, any type of form. Then they went to the fat-free, further devaluing the milk, stripping it of its essential fat. You see the way they treat these animals in these modern-day milk facilities and slaughterhouses. I mean, it's anti-Islamic. You see all the time people in the West, they curse, you know, the halal slaughter. They talk about how horrible halal slaughter is, you know, for us, you know, but yet, you know, they don't have a problem with factory farming. Zero, where these animals are treated, I mean, in the most evil of ways. I mean, just totally butcherized and all these different things. So we have all of that, you know, going on. And what kind of a world has that ultimately created? Well, I was reading again today about this agendas. You have these three men, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, and Jeff Bezos. Now, as of today, they have more wealth than over half the population of the United States combined. This is so symbolic of the world that we live in. As Sister Laila is showing here, this pasteurization process. I mean, you could see again, infections. These cows are basically just, I mean, it's horrific. I mean, what's going on? I mean, I almost became a vegetarian many years ago because I just didn't want to support, you know, this system which treats the creatures of Allah in such a horrendous, you know, way. And again, the pus and the other things that are getting into our foods and the trauma that these animals are under is in their meat. When you consume something, you're taking in a part of it. And when every bit of its life has been butchered, tortured, and pain and agony, you are taking that into your soul, into your consciousness when you consume food. But back to our billionaire trio here. 167 million people, as about half the United States population, around 160 to 167 million. They have the equivalent wealth of these three men. That, I mean, that right there, if that doesn't really wake people up to what exactly is going on with wealth transfer, the domestication of the human being I talked about, and how their plan is going exactly as it was intended to, where three men can own more than 167 million people. I mean, most people couldn't even imagine how much 167 million is. I mean, just imagine a local sports stadium. They've got 60 to 70,000 in there. And you can just see how much humanity. And then imagine 167 million. I mean, the mind just can't even begin to comprehend that number. And this brought me back to a conversation I had, you know, maybe about 15, 16 years ago. A guy asked me, he was one of the people who's kind of, you know, starting to ask questions. And I love those people because I can really ask them a few questions to kind of get their brain turning. And I asked him, he said to me, he said, why do they need so much money? Why are they so greedy? And I told him, once you understand this question, you'll be on your way to understanding the others. My answer was, so you can't have it. And he was taken back by that explanation. It was like, what's going on here? What do you mean by that? And I said, look into who these men are. Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg, for instance, he came up with Facebook. The narrative is they want you to believe that Mark Zuckerberg was a college kid with a dream. He slept on the bean mattress on the floor. We hear all the garbage stories. He slept in his office. He worked so hard to get where he was. Facebook was a CIA program from day one. The name Facebook, Book of Faces, obviously was a way of maintaining data and information. He is a Zionist also as well. This guy was a front man, the same way Elon Musk is. Look what's going on with Elon Musk's vehicles. Elon Musk has technology in these Teslas where they can record you while you're outside the vehicle. They can turn the cameras on without your knowledge. They can cut these vehicles off on you. So if you're standing around Tesla and they decide to turn it on, the owner will not even know, because Elon Musk leaked this when he was talking about all the vandalism that's going on by these liberal whack jobs, all controlled, I'm sure, from A to Z, all controlled, fake, phony attacks as usual. But he mentioned something that was clear, was that they are going to enable the features of these Tesla vehicles to be able to pick up everything that's going on around them without the owner even being able to know it. Elon Musk, like Zuckerberg, popped up out of nowhere. All of a sudden, he had all this government funding. And the Tesla stocks, of course, as being seen there, are down. Wink, wink. There's a lot of people going to be buying, and trust me, it will go back up. It may not have bottomed yet, but this is the game they play. They'll have these fake attacks, all staged, all planned, drop the stock down. They're going to all be buying it up. And then within 2 years now, I'll be right here on this platform, inshallah, God willing, and I'll be saying, look where the stock is now. And how many people were buying in these months are going to make a tremendous amount of wealth while everybody else is panic selling. They know the game. They control the game. So you have, again, Zuckerberg, Musk. You have basically Bill Gates. Bill Gates came out with famously Microsoft Windows. What is Windows? Allows you to see inside something, right? That's a clever name. No coincidence there for his program. When he got Windows mainstream, as the computer revolution was taking shape and controlling the offices in the workplace, they had a back door. They had a way to see every single thing that was going on in there. Bill Gates is photographed at Los Alamos, New Mexico, CIA Black Ops projects. He is a front man. He didn't invent a damn thing. All the narratives are there to just keep the mind, hard work, hard work, hard work. It ain't hard work. This is a man here who's done so much wicked in this world with his vaccines, sterilizing people. There were kids in India who couldn't feel their legs after taking some of his experimental drugs about 5 to 10 years ago. Population guy here. But what are these people, how do they show you this? Well, when they die, Bill Gates has already said all of his money is going to what? It's going for his philanthropy, AKA their projects. Because again, it's not really his money. He is the front man. He's going to use all this wealth. It's all being pledged to numerous immigration groups, NGOs that are bringing illegal migrants into Europe and the West. It's just a way of taking our money and using it against us. That's all it is, nothing more, nothing less. These are government projects. These are front men. And now these three project champions have basically more wealth than over 160 million people. Not by accident there. When you see things in this world, if you could take anything away from my work or my time here, nothing is as what it seems. All it takes is a little bit of investigation, and sure enough, we will find the answers. Now to our next section, we're going to be looking at Donald Trump and Gaza coming up here in a minute. But first, we're going to look at something that Trump did that was slightly good. I always want to cover the good and the bad, but whatever the motives are still yet to be seen. But Trump had deported recently 238 hardened gang members to the brutal jail system of El Salvador. Now, El Salvador is a truly amazing story of what can happen to a society when you get tough on crime. The average person does not want these criminals running loose like this. Maybe your whack job liberals and your college kids who've never tasted the real world. They want to keep talking, they're oppressed, their dad hit them, whatever the excuse is. But the vast majority of us, we want our children to be able to play in the streets. without being shot by guns. We want to be able to walk down the road without drug dealers being there. We want to be able to do all these things. The people don't want this. And Nayib Bukele of Salvador, he basically got tough on these people. He created a brutal jail system, zero tolerance toward gang members. He places them in cages. He humbles them, makes them walk around in their underwear, naked. And all these problems all of a sudden have been fixed. You know, it's all been taken care of. El Salvador has gone from one of the most violent countries in this side of the world to one of the safest in a matter of a couple of years. Because again, when the people get their will, good things will actually happen. But here in America, as you see this disgusting human being here, he came out wanting to protect the gang members. And you see the Democrats, the liberals, coming out here and supporting this, saying this is inhumane. How can we do this? Well, one, they're illegal. They don't belong here, first and foremost. They're already breaking the law. Most of these guys, if you see them, they're covered head to toe with tattoos. These are Mara Salvatrecha, MS-13 members, some of the most brutal, disgusting human beings on the face of the earth. Thank God this particular shipment was, they were already arrived by the time he blocked it. But we want to see more. And now, as usual, things get stuck in the courts. It's going to take years for this stuff to be settled. As I talked about in my election episode about 6 months ago, is that this is the cycle. You know, once a leader appears in America to be doing something good, you'll have a guy like this come out and block it. It'll stay battled in the courts for 2 years, maybe be thrown out, maybe be allowed to continue, then challenged again, all the while the gang members continue to be here unpunished, not removed. Our tax dollars are taking care and paying for this. And anything that could get these people out of here, obviously, is a very big benefit for us and for our quality of life. And like I said, the Democrats have really exposed themselves in a liberal mentality to begin with, because liberals will always take the side of the criminal above the victim. They always find an excuse for the criminal. It doesn't matter what he did. It's, oh, his environment, oh, his daddy, oh, he didn't have a father. Oh, again, at the end of the day, I didn't have a father either. And I didn't go out here and commit these heinous acts. It is not an excuse. I had as about as rough of a background as you could have. And I didn't turn out this way. There is no excuse. And again, they showed their colors. Now, excuse me, the big issue of the week, we obviously had the escalation of Zionist violence in Palestine. Trump has basically given Netanyahu the green light. This is now a total of, I saw today, probably they've killed more since. Unfortunately, 49,547 are killed as of this afternoon, at least, when I put this in my notes. We had 112,719 wounded. So just imagine, again, these numbers. Close to 200,000 people have physically either lost their lives or been impacted by this. And this is just, again, continues to go on. Israel threatened the residents today of Gaza, saying if they don't hand over the hostages, it will be, as they said, quote unquote, complete destruction. For those of you following me for a while, I mentioned this before Ramadan. I talked about this hostage scam and how they were going to use it. All they have to do now is simply say, there's more hostages. They're in there, you know. Says who? Us. Okay. And the media, of course, will blindly accept that, obviously. And this will continue to allow them to bomb at will, destroy, and kill. The best trick of the Zionists when it comes to this conflict for decades has been they blow up a hospital or a school. Well, there's terrorists in there. There were terrorists in the basement of the hospital. There were terrorists in the playground, the school over there on the monkey bars. So we had to blow it up, you know, because we had to get that 2 terrorists that supposedly were taking haven there. Then they went to say later on that all the Palestinians support the terrorists. So therefore there's terrorists even in the homes, you know, as well. And now it's the hostages. They will keep saying, oh, well, they didn't turn them all over. There's still more hostages. We still got to get them. And again, that was the red line until they return all the hostages that they weren't going to stop. Well, guess what? There's always going to be more hostages. I'd like to see them actually, even though they probably would fake the names, it's not beneath them to do that. but we've never seen any evidence of any of their claims. And what we're seeing is now the next phase of the plan is already starting. Israel has said openly they want 2.1 million Palestinians just excavated, send them away. And right now, I learned today that Japan has now agreed to take in Palestinian refugees. So now you have Europe, and you have, of course, America, Canada, all these different destinations for these displaced people. Again, this is all part of the plan. Again, this is the Zionists clearing out the area. And now the Far East, along with Europe, who's already bared their burden for far too long, is now going to continue to bear this burden. And that goes back to what I had talked about a few weeks ago, where we said we showed the Zionist quotes and the statements, how they wanted to use immigration to break down the fabric of these societies. They know that these Palestinians are not going to fit in Japanese society. It's going to cause immediate tension. The Japanese have their strong culture. They're proud of their culture. You are going to see massive amounts of clashes there. You are going to see this already continuing in Europe and America. This is going to cause further racial division. It's going to cause religious division. All the while, they are doing what they want to do, and they're emptying out the land for their further expansion, all going according to plan. And the question that really needs to be asked of Muslims here, why is Saudi, Qatar, Oman, Kuwait, Bahrain, any of them, why are they not taking care of their brothers? Why is it atheistic Japan or the Christian secular West that is being tasked with providing for these people? Why are the Zionists not providing? Obviously, it would just be our money anyway, because all of their money is our money through our tax dollars and all the extradition that comes from Europe from their Holocaust tale. This is their economy, is basically our donations, if you will. But why is Saudi not helping? Saudi hasn't taken one. In fact, Saudi will not even allow Palestinians who are not already in with residential iqamas to even have residency there. Kuwait, all of them. United Arab Emirates, I didn't mention them. They're also part of this as well. In fact, UAE still has bans on Palestinians being able to obtain travel visas, even to go to UAE. If these are our brothers, we don't need enemies. To be honest, we don't need enemies if these are what we want to call brothers. And you'll still continue to see these sellouts, these liars in social media coming out here, ignoring this, sticking up for these Gulf countries with their billions and billions and trillions, of oil money, not lifting a finger, to protect these people. So the Japanese are now going to have these people settled there. So I'll close with something quite interesting relating to this. I've alluded to several times over my work in my Palestinian series and other lectures here and there about the genetic origins of these so-called Jews. And I use the word so-called Jew very purposely, here. I've talked to people for over 20 years about the origins of these people, that these people have no connection to Ibrahim. They have no connection to Yaqub. They have no connection to any of the patriarchs that we know from the Quran, from the Old Testament, or the Torah. These people are Khazars. They come from a region between the Caspian Sea and the Black Sea. We're going to get into that here in a second. But Johns Hopkins University did a genetic study, and they found that 97.5% of the Jews living in present-day Israel have zero ancient Hebrew DNA. Zero. None. 97.5%. This was known by researchers a long time. There's been more brilliant than me, more involved than me. I was learning from back in 1999 and 2000 and 2001, in that period when I first started getting heavily involved in this stuff. And back then, if you said anything, you were just completely crazy. People said, oh my God, you're just an anti-Semite. You're trying to diminish these people. You're trying to tear away their culture and all this and that. But now we find 97.5% of these people. This needs to be talked about more because their entire narrative for this land is biblical. It's their entire narrative. They are owed the land. This was the big selling point of the Balfour Declaration. This was the selling point to the League of Nations, to the United Nations, saying that these people had an ancestral home for thousands of years that was taken from them, and that now we are to give them back. These are not the Jews of the Torah. They are not the Jews of the former territory we know as Maghreb that became present-day Medina that we read about in our Sirah, in our Hadith collection. They are Khazars, also known as Ashkenazi. Their home, again, is not the Holy Land. These people have that home I was talking about between the region of the Black and the Caspian Sea. Modern-day Ukraine was one of their big branches. They were a merchant warrior class. And you can see the way that they've handled business in Europe now going on 1,500 years using that ability. They were always traders and manipulators and all of these different things. This is the same mysterious people who've taken control of our banking, our media, the entire economies of the Western and Eastern nations. They were the people I mentioned who ran the slave trade. Again, we will cover this issue after Ramadan, as I promised some brothers a few weeks ago. We are going to go to how they really put America to its knees through their collective work and their manipulation of our currency. But again, they migrated to this region known as Khazaria. They are 97.5% non-Hebrew. Their entire case is based on a lie. And yet you have the Christian Zionists, and now there's a new term called the Islamic Zionists. These are people from, guess where, the Gulf countries, who are Muslims who claim to be Zionists, who believe in the concept of a Jewish homeland. And again, if you know anything about Islamic history, this homeland, this prophet that Allah made with them ended. You know, they didn't accept Isa. They didn't accept Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They rejected, they lost, their covenant. But it's not even the same people. And that's kind of the core that needs to be really addressed and understood here. And we're going to get much more into this after Ramadan. We're going to do an entire episode, covering this and really going into who these people are. As Sister Laila has up there, their conversion that happened to Judaism. They embraced Judaism, particularly the black magic of the Kabbalah. And throughout Europe, they speak Yiddish, not even Hebrew, distinctly different. And the inbreeding among this group is off the charts. They have been inbreeding among themselves for 1,000 years. And really, there's not a lot of differentiation genetically, even between them, because they've inbred and stayed with their in-group preferences for so long. They have become a completely unique race, to say the least, and very brilliant people. I mean, their IQs on average are 109, 110, depending on what study. You can see the evidence of that. But their morality is as low as their IQ is high, as we also have seen in the way that they have handled themselves in the Western nations, as well as how they are handling themselves in the present day world. And yeah, a lot coming on that in the future. I just wanted to add it in here because of what we're seeing with all the death and destruction that has gone on this past week. I mean, it's just really, it's appalling. And Donald Trump, although he's done some good things domestically, he continues to be known as the Zionist president, and he continues to support this outright genocide and displacement. These people have been slowly kicked off their land now for over 100 years. And the main excuse was because this is the Jews' land. This is biblical. Christians, you have a responsibility to ensure the Jews return by twisting Old Testament verses, twisting New Testament passages, have been able to convince a whole section, the evangelicals and the Southern Christians in particular, that they have a role. And you see so many donations coming out of this group to help these people in getting these goals. Like I said earlier, their economy is us. It's all of our goodwill. It's all of the money that we're donating. This is how their planes, their tanks, their weapons of war have all come from money that we've given them, or the weapons directly, that we have given them. So yeah, we're going to close here, take questions, conversations, and discussions. Sister Laila, I'm ready to give the audience the floor.
Brother Yusuf, I had a quick question. Is that why they don't take DNA tests?
playing now for the last 100+ years. They can't play that anymore because this is clearly not their land. This is a place that they created with Rothschild backing to have a safe haven for extradition and to build the next global ruling state of the world. As the American Empire took over for the British Empire, the American Empire now seems that the sun is setting. They're phasing everything in, Greater Israel to grow. Temporarily, there could be a kind of multi-state transitional period from the American dominance, where you see China, Russia, India emerging economies, and you're going to have Israel now with the Gulf states in their pocket, continuing to expand into Syria and to Lebanon, splitting it up into 5 pieces, like Muammar Gaddafi had said. You're going to continue to see the expansion outside of Gaza, all the way over into Iraq. It's going to continue to grow. But they don't want DNA tests, no.
Yeah, they don't allow that. Well, alhamdulillah, Brother Yusuf, I just want to say this was a very, very excellent week in review. The issues and how I like how you took the issues and implored how they relate to us as an ummah, as a nation. And that's what we need to be aware of. Everything that's going on in the world today is impacting us as an ummah, and we have to open up our eyes and see that everything is staged, for a reason.
Absolutely.
This is all staged, and Allah is in control, because Allah told us that everything that's happening, He said it would happen. This is in the hadith, the people praying in the streets, the food being contaminated. Allah said all this would happen right before the war against Islam, which is in the process now. We just have to open up our eyes. MashaAllah. Any comments from the Zoom room before we close? Everybody here is typing that this was the best. The way you presented it, the brothers here are saying the way you presented it was excellent. They like my videos. Yeah, alhamdulillah. Journalists.
Well, yeah, I wanted to touch on the food because I've talked about food a lot here, and it's a war of 2 wars. Poisoning our bodies and domesticating us like a dog.
Yes.
The average human being, Sister Laila, before I came on, was talking about the marriages, and a lot of times I spend time talking about the current state of women. And the current state of women is obviously in the gutter, but we can't let the men slide off with a free pass here either, because the current state of men in this world is also in the gutter. These men are just as indecent, immoral, and filthy as a lot of these women are. And a lot of times, because the women are a little bit more out in front, the men is a little bit more behind the scenes, you can see the lack of morality in a lot of these young girls visually. The men, you have to get to know them. You have to dive inside and peel away the layers, and you can see the same degeneracy in them. Some it's apparent early on. Others, you got to go in a little bit deep. But men can't be men anymore. We don't know how to hunt. We don't know how to provide. We don't know how to build. We don't know how to fix anything. It's all been removed from us, and we become completely domesticated. And they are our lords and masters as they see in this physical world. But we obviously know that Allah is the ultimate Lord and Master, and whatever they've got planned, there's a greater plan coming from this. And sometimes you have to hit rock bottom before you can climb out. And humanity is pretty close to hitting rock bottom. And I believe Allah has taken us there, obviously, on purpose. This is a spiritual opportunity to grow and become stronger than we ever could have. If there was no evil in this world, there'd be no point in living. There'd be no tests. There would be no color, you can say, to this life. If everything went great as we wanted, we wouldn't know good because we didn't see the evil. You need to have that balance, there. And these people certainly fit that description. And like I said, we had to hit rock bottom, I think, before we're going to start to see the ascendancy to challenge ourselves and become better than we ever could have been.
Exactly.
And I add something too, because I was talking to I was talking to a student, and we were talking about how back in the day, men would go to shop. They would have Boy Scouts. They would go and hunt. Your uncle would take your brother to go and learn how to shoot a gun. They would go hunting. They would bring home deers. They'll teach them how to skin the deer. I'm from the South. That's what.
Oh, yeah.
we grew up on. And I was just wondering, why did they take that out of the school? Because my uncles learned how to whale in school and all of that. Like, they don't even have that, like, shop. They used to have to build something and you get graded on it.
Oh, yeah.
Now they have taken all of that out.
Yeah. And that's like you heard tonight. It's not by accident. It's all by design. The Boy Scouts, as you mentioned, the scouting. This was a big thing back in the 70s, the 80s. The boys would go out in the woods with a scoutmaster. They would teach you how to build a fire. They would teach you how to clear camp spaces, how to live off the land. Then what happened? They started bringing the gays into the scouts and started allowing gays to be scoutmasters.
That's when it went
You started
down.
seeing, molestations of the boys. And then you started seeing the parents are like, well, wait a minute. I don't think I want to send my son in the woods with an openly gay man. Based on the track record that homosexuals, I don't know the exact number, but they're far more likely, obviously, to touch and molest young boys than straight men would be. Then you found them trying to infiltrate the male spaces with women and inserting a sexual dynamic into that. It used to be when you went to a gym, it was all men. And it was a healthy environment for men to come and bond with other men, strengthen their character, lift weights together, grow their bodies, and grow their minds. Now, when you go to a gym, I refuse to go to a gym. I built mine for my house because I refused to go to the gym because all I was seeing was women coming in there basically wearing what they should wear in the shower or into the bed with their husbands. They're now in the gym with that. And you're seeing the men are arguing, trying to get the attention of the female. It's just, all these male spaces being gone, removing the shop classes. Again, when I was there, there still was shop where you learn how to use the saws and the tools and to fabricate wood, to shape wood, to, weld, as she pointed out. That was also there as well. Now, no. We have dudes that come onto our job sites. They don't even know how to use wrenches and screwdrivers. They have no idea when someone says, give me a 3/8, what that means. These men have been domesticated. They've had their manhood taken from them. Even, you see with the sports, everybody has to win now. Everybody has to get a trophy. Further weakening men not to accept early, I lost. Well, so what? I lost. Let me go work harder and get better. Or maybe this isn't my thing. Maybe I'll work hard and try something else. But instead, everybody's a winner. Nobody loses. We don't keep score. All this type of nonsense that we've seen. And it's weakened the men and made them ripe for prey. Most men now, I saw this, I think it was 45% have never even, and again, we're not condoning dating here, but this is something that's kind of indicative of what I'm referring to. 45% of men have never even approached a woman, in public. Now, again, in Islam, we have our own way. We're not condoning that. But if they can't approach a woman in this way, how are they going to be able to talk to a potential wife? These men are so weak. They're so shy. Their confidence and self-esteem has never been boosted. They play video games and they spend all their time like zombies on their mobile phones. They don't have any social skills and they don't know how to talk to a woman. And then you see women also have overinflated standards of men due to the same devices, but it's a real problem.
Exactly. Yeah, mashallah. And that's going to take us into our next lecture here, which is the Islam Q&A, and that's going to be our topic, guys. The polygamy women will speak out against how they've had to spend their Ramadan, many of them alone, because their husbands chose that they're not really family. It's really sad. So I want to thank everybody for joining and participating in this session with Brother Yusuf. And I agree. I think it's one of his best too. I'll try to put these shorts out tonight. Please make sure you guys go to our YouTube channel. Click on the tab that says shorts and take the shorts of Brother Yusuf and all the other speakers here. And you guys, share them, put them on, post them on your social platforms so that what we're speaking about can get out to the masses. You guys are the ones that will promote our information here and bring more people in to learn Islam and its truthfulness with the correct understanding, and also to open up their minds to what's going on in the world and how it's impacting us as a nation. So I'm going to log out for now. I'll be logging back in 5 minutes for the Q&A. Make sure y'all look for the tab for that. Subhana Kalahuma wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. They all